Hello everyone, and welcome to Yoshi 1 Kenobi's God Pharaoh's Gift deck for Amonkhet Remastered, now leveraging the full power of Scholar of the Lost Trove, and one of everyone's favorite artifact from the Amonkhet block, God Pharaoh's Gift. So what does God Pharaoh's Gift do? Well, it's a 7 mana artifact, and at the beginning of combat on each turn, you exile a creature card from your graveyard, and you create a copy of that card. That's a 4/4 black zombie with haste. So it's like you get to revive a creature every turn as a 4/4, and you swing at your opponent's face with it. What's not to love about this artifact? It's not even legendary, so it stacks. You can put 4 God Pharaoh's Gifts in the battlefield, and well, if you have 4 on the battlefield and you haven't won the game, you're probably doing something wrong. Or the opponent's playing Turbo Fog, one of the two. In either case, what else are we going to be playing with this? We will be playing Gate to the Afterlife. So this is the fetcher for God Pharaoh's Gift. So it's a 3 mana artifact. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, you gain a life. You may draw a card, discard a card, which helps you feed the second condition. You get to pay 2 mana and sacrifice the Gate to the Afterlife to search your graveyard, hand, or library, basically anywhere but exile, for a card named God Pharaoh's Gift and put it on the battlefield. If you search your library this way, shuffle it, of course. But you can only use this if you have 6 or more creature cards in your graveyard, which is good because we want creature cards to revive for a God Pharaoh's Gift. How do we put God Pharaoh's Gift in play? So either the Gate to the Afterlife is one of the ways we get this 7 mana artifact into play. The second way is through Scholar of the Lost Trove. So this 7 mana creature, when it enters the battlefield, you may cast target instant, sorcery, or artifact from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. Which means that if you get Scholar of the Lost Trove into play, you get to bring a God Pharaoh's Gift from your graveyard into play for free. And then you'll get to bring in something else with a God Pharaoh's Gift trigger. And it snowballs out of proportion fairly fast. But we don't really want to cast our 7 mana Scholar of the Lost Trove. I mean, we're casting a 7-drop to bring in a 7-drop for free. We're not gaining that much. But we are casting the Scholar of the Lost Trove using Unburial Rites, which we can cast from our graveyard for the low cost of 4 mana for a limited time while supplies last. Well, it's really about getting the supply of Unburial Rites, Scholar of the Lost Trove, and God Pharaoh's Gift in the graveyard. And getting all 3 in the graveyard is fairly challenging. That's why we also have the Gate of the Afterlife as the backup plan. And we'll often draw into our Gate of the Afterlife with the 6 creature cards in the graveyard to fetch our God Pharaoh's Gift. And having the God Pharaoh's Gift, Scholar, as well as Unburial Rites in the graveyard is something that happens fairly often. Note that we also get to cast Unburial Rite from our hand for 5 mana, and cheating these things out on turn 5 is perfectly fine. So now we go heavy on the self-mill plan. Stitcher Supplier, the all-star of self-mill. Wall of Lost Thought? Well, it's okay. It mills you for 4, and we wanted to stay in Esper type of mana. Mire Triton, it mills you 2 cards. It's not the best, but it has Death Touch, gains you 2 life, helps you to survive for later parts of the game. And Champion of Wits, which is doing very, very well. So, it's a 3 mana. When it enters the battlefield, you draw 2 cards and you discard 2 cards. When you eternalize it, you draw 4 cards and discard 2 cards. When you revive it with God Pharaoh's Gift, you draw 4, discard 2. It's a very powerful card that enables you to discard cards from your hand to draw cards. It's a creature. Because of the condition on Gate to the Afterlife, we want most of our deck to be creature based. So we have these 3 cards that directly mill from your deck. Champion of Wits, that essentially lets you see 2 more cards and then helps you to discard those heavy hitters that you have stuck in your hand. And it does a very great job at it. Also, if it gets milled, then it's not a dead card. You get to eternalize it once you hit the 7 mana in the late game. What else are we playing? We're playing Ravenous Chupacabra and Hostage Taker. Mostly because we don't want to... We want to have some way to respond to not having our combo. So it's a bit of removal that's going to act as a speed bump. Again, creature base for Gate to the Afterlife. Also, when we get to revive them with God Pharaoh's Gift, we get a 4/4 haste creature that destroys or steals an opponent's creature, which is very powerful and very relevant. So they're both castable and great targets for God Pharaoh's Gift, which is what we're looking for. We're also playing one copy of Massacre Girl and one copy of Massacre Wurm, just to have a little bit of diversity in what we're going to get to revive from our graveyard. And that's pretty much it for the deck. We play 2 Phyrexian Towers because we want ways to sacrifice our Stitcher's Supplier. It's also a way to ramp, so it's pretty good, and it's a land slot. Everything else is, well, dual lands basically. Now let's see what kind of crazy games we get when we try to play God Pharaoh's Gift in Amonkhet Remastered Historic. And let's see it in action with some games. We are playing God Pharaoh's Gift on MTG Arena Historic against Blue Archer. And we have a so-so hand. We have a Champion of Wits, and we're going first. So let's keep this. We have all the colors of mana that we want. Let's get started. Hostage Taker is gonna be good in this matchup. Ooh, now that's a good draw. Stitcher's Supplier. Come on, give us something good. Champion of Wits and Unburial Rites. That's very good. Johnny Pridemate. That's going to grow, but technically we will get to steal it. But first, let's Champion of Wits. Draw 2, discard 2. Discarding our Scholar of Troves. Let's discard both Scholar of the Trove. And we will keep the Stitcher's Supplier as a blocker. Sunscared Champion. Gain life equal to its power. This opponent is going to gain a lot of life. We will sack our Stitcher's Supplier. Build 3 cards. Hopefully we hit a God Pharaoh's Gift. More Scholars, and an Unburial Rite. Alright. God Pharaoh's Gift. What do we do with that? If we Unburial Rites, we could hit we could use our Champion of Wits. Discarding our God Pharaoh's Gift. Nah. Let's just deal with the threat. Ravenous Chupacabra, kill the Pridemate. Deal with any immediate source of concern. And we'll get to mill our God Pharaoh's Gift another day. Like now, what is Stitcher's Supplier? Could bring back Hostage Taker. You know what? Let's just play another Stitcher's Supplier. We are under no pressure whatsoever. We hit another Champion of Wits. Let's not attack. Opponent casts a Collected Company. Alright, didn't see that coming. That's a good inclusion. Scavenging Ooze and Pridemate. That is bad. That is really bad. Thankfully your opponent only has the 1 green source. But the 1 green source is enough to deny most of our plans. Which will leave us with pretty much no choice other than the Hostage Taker, the Scavenging Ooze. Yeah, it just shuts down everything we have. Exiling one of our Unburial Rites. But we get an ooze. Well, we don't actually get the ooze. Their opponent has at least 9 of flying power in play. Splendid Angel is going to create another 4/4 flyer, which is going to be a big problem. Gain a ton of life off the Sunscourged champion. Johnny's Pridemate grows. Glorybound Initiate, a big lifelinker, swing for 9 in the air. Gain life, make an angel, gain life, grow a Johnny. Alright. What do we have? Oh, we have a God Pharaoh's Gift in the graveyard. Alright. Alright. So, I guess we don't have a choice. We will play the mana efficient. No, we'll play the short Unburial Rites. Bring back Scholar of the Lost Trove. Scholar of the Lost Trove will bring back God Pharaoh's Gift. Opponent gains life. Typical shenanigans. Not too important at this current point in time. We move to combat. Scholar of the Lost Trove triggers. We get a hostage taker. Opponent has 10 power in the air. We can take the beating from the Sarah Avenger. Yeah, so we take the Resplendent Angel. Because that thing keeps on generating iterative advantage. And we also get to, well, we don't get to cast the Scavenging Ooze yet, but we do in main phase 2. So cast the Scavenging Ooze. Pass the turn. Heliod. Just when I thought we had this thing settled, opponent summons a 5/5 indestructible. Now that 5/5 flying is a bit of a pain. Actually, it's a huge pain. But that's okay. So we trade against the token. We will block this with the Hostage Taker. The non-token Hostage Taker, which we will revive with God Pharaoh's Gift. That seems fine. We take 6. And we get rid of one of the creatures. We go down to 3. Heliod does its thing. This is a pretty crazy board state we have. But I think we're winning. Scholar of the Lost Trove. Alright. Well, with God Pharaoh's Gift, we'll get to bring back a Hostage Taker, which will allow us to get Heliod or the Sarah Ascendant. Probably the Sarah Ascendant. We'll get to cast it. We also get to cast the Resplendent Angel, if we so wish. Our opponent does not have a flying threat, so let's go with that. Hostage Taker. Come back as a 4/4. Take the flyer, because flying kills us. You can do your Heliod shenanigans all you want. We will have blockers for days. I don't really want to attack, but I do want to start casting your own stuff. And now we're the ones with the 3/3 flyer. And we actually have enough mana to activate its ability. So we'll get to start spawning 4/4 flying angels. And our opponent resigns, seeing the writing on the wall. God Pharaoh's Gift. It beats 62 life and 21 21s with indestructible creatures. Because we keep on taking them hostage. And that's how we win with zombie hostage takers. We are playing God Pharaoh's Gift on MTG Arena Historic against Mia Khalifa. And we have a pair of Stitcher Supplier, a Scholar of Lost Trove, and a God Pharaoh's Gift. We will keep this because the Stitchers Suppliers are very good. Let's play Temple of Silence. Scry first. Another temple. That seems reasonable. Let's keep that. We have some time, because we gotta go first. Apparently our opponent is playing a control deck. Oh, self-mill as well. It's on, opponent. It's on. Stitcher Supplier first. Let's mill ourselves for 3. 3 lands. Well, I'm glad we got those out of the way. Massacre Wurm. We don't really want to draw that, especially not against a mill opponent. Opponent's playing Grixis. Oh no. There's black, blue, red, white. Opponent is playing 4-color Reanimator. Shard of Course. Draw 2, discard 1. Sphinx in the graveyard. Opponent is trying to beat us to the punch. Stitcher Supplier on the battlefield. We mill 3, and we hit a pair of Unburial Rites. Unfortunately, we don't have anything in the graveyard worth reviving. The stuff's in our hand. Opponent has the Scholar in the graveyard, but does not have the Unburial Rites. Cathartic Reunion. Ooh, opponent is playing Rise of the Dark Realms. That's pretty good with the Scholar of the Lost Trove. Might even beat our combo. Alright, well, we'll attack you with our Stitcher Suppliers. You will block 1, and take 1. We'll play a Watery Grave tapped, and we'll pass the turn. Again, because we have nothing to sacrifice. Cathartic Reunion, Dracuset, and then Burial Rites. Next turn is going to hurt like a truck. Actually, we're dead next turn. I think. Well, Phyrexian Tower. Sacrifice a Stitcher Supplier. Mill a Sphinx and a God Pharaoh's Gift. Alright. Well. Let's read Rise of the Dark Realms. Put all creature cards from all graveyards on the battlefield. So the opponent is going to cast that, get a Dracuset, get a pair of Scholars, Shard of Course, Stitcher Supplier. We might be able to get away with a Massacre Girl. Well, let's get our Scholar of the Lost Trove on the battlefield. Get a God Pharaoh's Gift. Revive a Stitcher Supplier. As a 4/4 haste, we get a Wall of Thought, and we'll attack you for 1, I guess. And pass the turn back. We have no creature. We have 1 creature in our graveyard. A 0/4. It's not really going to help us with the Massacre Girl. Opponent mills 4. Opponent will cast Unburial Rites to revive the Scholar. To then revive everything. To cast more spells. I'm going to say nice, but really I thought about it before. We knew that this was going to happen. Cathartic Reunion. Wall of Thought, Stitcher Supplier. Tardic Reunion. Opponent mills a ton of cards. Opponent draws a ton of cards. Well, this card's in draws. Another Rise of the Dark Realms in the graveyard. I think we only have one play here, which is the Massacre Girl. Opponent doesn't have another copy of Unburial Rites in the graveyard. Probably in their hand. But we gotta take a chance. Alright. Godless Shrine untapped. Gotta tap this right. Cast a Massacre Girl. Auto pay. Massacre Girl enters the battlefield. We'll trigger a couple of times. Actually, I don't need full control for this. We'll resolve Stitcher Supplier. Same for opponent. Then we'll activate the Phyrexian Tower, sacrificing our Stitcher Supplier. Massacre Girl triggers. We wipe out the rest of the board. Resolve all. Stitcher Supplier triggers. Alright. Move to combat. God Pharaoh's Gift triggers. We have a Scholar of Lost Trove. Scholar of Lost Trove triggers. We will cast an Unburial Rites for free. And we will bring back Scholar? Might as well. Which will allow us to cast Gates to the Afterlife. And then we hit our opponent for 4. And pass the turn and lose, I'm pretty sure. Opponent mills himself for 4. 4 Terror of the Peaks, okay. Unburial Rites for game. Unburial Rites for game. Ouch! That's pretty effective. Rise of the Dark Realm. And I'll let that resolve because it's awesome. Bringing number of triggers on the stack to 71. Alright. No, that's okay. The game doesn't let them all resolve. Anyways, that was awesome. We got Terror of the Peaked. We are playing God Pharaoh's Gift in MTG Arena Historic against G0, the 0G, or Gothmog. That's a pretty good hand. You have a pair of Stitcher Supplier, Hostage Taker, and voila, we don't care so much about the God Pharaoh's Gift. Also, we have 3 lands, spanning all 3 colors of mana we need. Only downside is we're going seconds, but we can't always go first. Otherwise our win rate would be pretty good. Especially if we would know that we'd always be going first and we could build our deck in consequence. Really wouldn't be fair. Temple of the Sea. See what we get. Scry. Wall of Lost Thought. It's pretty good. We'll keep it. opponent is playing Azorius Control, maybe? Jeskai Control? Oops. Doesn't matter too much. Mill a pair of Scholars of Lost Trove. Opponent's thinking about killing the Stitcher Supplier. And then thinking that's actually going to help us. To kill or not to kill? That is the question. Hit you for 1. Stitcher Supplier. Boom, self-mill for 3. Another Scholar. Milling all the Scholars and keeping all of the God Pharaoh's gift in hand. Not quite what we want. Now we have the Unburial Rites, so we just have to discard a God Pharaoh's gift somehow. Also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 creatures in the graveyard. Shatter the Sky. Thank you very much, opponent. That is very helpful. You have just given us a pair of God Pharaoh's gifts. Scholar. Bring back God Pharaoh's gift. God Pharaoh's gift. Bring back Scholar. Scholar. Bring back God Pharaoh's gift. Swing for 4. I really like that move. Shatter the Skying our 2 Stitcher Supplier. Well, I mean, this is a Jedi mind trick that we had to use to say, this is the board wipe you are looking for. And then our opponent actually killed off our Stitcher Supplier. And now we have 2 God Pharaoh's gifts and a ton of creatures in the graveyard. And our opponent goes Tormod Script. Ah, that is lame. Thankfully we still have 9 power in play. That was not nice. Let's see if we can get lucky. Champion of Wits. Draw. Discarding Hostage Taker and Champion of Wits for game. Move to combat. I think it's game. Yeah. Unless their opponent has something very good. Discard one of the God Pharaoh's gift. We have a little too many of those. Don't really need Unburial Rites. Hostage Taker. Exile a creature or artifact. I'll take back our Champion of Wits. The real one. And then we will swing for lethal. And that's how you do it, with your opponent's help and God Pharaoh's gift on MTG Arena Historic. We are playing God Pharaoh's gift on MTG Arena Historic against Bounty 93. And we have a pair of Stitcher Supplier, a Champion of Wits, a Gate to the Afterlife, and a Phyrexian Tower. Hands don't get much better than this. Start with Stitcher Supplier number 1. And we rolled 1 creature and a Gate to the Afterlife. Opponent is playing something with red. We will play the Hallowed Fountain tapped. We will hit you with a Stitcher Supplier that you're considering shocking, but will pass because that would be advantageous for us. Stitcher Supplier number 2 rolls a Sphinx and a Hostage Taker. We now have 3 creatures in the graveyard. No, 4. So we're pretty close to the Gate to the Afterlife. Opponent plays a Mind Stone. Let's cast a Champion of Wits. Discarding the Scholar to Lost Trove. Oh, we need to discard 2. And a Wall of Lost Thought. And it will hit you for 2. The classic draw 2, discard 2. What do you have on the 4 mana opponent? Opponent's playing dragons, apparently. And we are playing Gates to the Afterlife. Sack a Stitcher's Supplier, mill some stuff. But I'm still thinking about shocking something. We got Chupacabra. Gate to the Afterlife. With exactly 6 creatures in the graveyard, we activate it and summon the mighty... search your library. God Pharaoh's Gift! And now we move to combat, and the fun begins. I have a pair of gates to the Afterlife. Let's get rid of that creature. Chupacabra! Here comes the removal spell! Blow up that Dragon Speaker Shaman. Move to combat, hit you for 7. Threatening lethal next turn. Opponent gives us more fodder for God Pharaoh's Gift. Massacre Wurm. That's tasty. Sarkin, Fireblood. Discard a card, draw a card. You could have done more scarier stuff, opponent. Alright, well... Okay, opponent just surrenders. We'll take it. The God Pharaoh's Gift wins the game. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe by clicking the Yoshi icon at the right of your screen. It doesn't cost you any mana, and it greatly helps to support this channel and keep the awesome videos coming.